Ladies, let me tell you a secret. Men notice way more than you think. Not just how you look, but how you carry yourself, how you treat others, and even the little details you might not give a second thought to. And here's the truth. Those small things, they leave a big impression. Because a man who's really paying attention isn't just watching you. He's studying the way you make him feel. Today, I'm going to share 7 things women never realize men pay attention to. And by the end, you'll see men differently than you ever have before. You know what men notice before anything else. Not the dress, not the shoes, not even the hair. It's the way you carry yourself. Confidence. That's the first thing that catches his attention. And here's the part most people don't realize. It's not about being loud, flashy, or having all the answers. It's about the quiet assurance you bring into a room, the way you walk, the way you hold eye contact, the way you sit down without shrinking yourself to fit in. That's the kind of confidence men pay attention to. Think about it for a second. You could put 2 people in the exact same outfit, and one of them will light up the room while the other fades into the background. The difference. It isn't the clothes, it's the energy. It's the way you choose to believe in yourself without saying a single word. Men notice that. Because the truth is, confidence is louder than any perfume, more attractive than any hairstyle, and more lasting than any makeup. Now here's where it gets interesting. Confidence isn't just about what you show on the outside. Men are tuned in to how you talk about yourself when you think no one's really listening. Do you speak with belief in who you are? Or do you cut yourself down? Do you laugh off compliments? Or do you own them with grace? That self-talk shows up in your energy, and believe me, he notices. Because if you can't see your own worth, he'll wonder if you'll ever fully believe in his. And let's be honest, everyone has insecurities. No one is walking around with perfect confidence all the time. Men aren't looking for perfection. They're looking for authenticity. What they pay attention to is whether you can be real about your flaws while still standing tall. That mix of humility and self-assurance is magnetic. When you can say, yeah, I'm not perfect, but I know who I am, that's when you stop being someone who's just nice to look at and you become unforgettable. Here's another layer, men. Notice how you handle attention from others. Do you shrink when people look at you, or do you meet it with steady eyes? Do you deflect every kind word with a nervous joke, or can you simply say, thank you, and mean it? That ability to receive without downplaying yourself is confidence in action. And it's not arrogance, it's self-respect. Arrogance pushes people away, but real confidence draws them closer because it feels safe, it feels steady, and it feels honest. Let me give you a picture. Imagine a woman walking into a coffee shop. She isn't the loudest person in the room. She isn't dressed in the most expensive clothes, but she walks in with her shoulders back, phone tucked away, head held high. She greets the barista with a smile that feels genuine. She takes her seat without fuss, without hesitation. She isn't trying to be noticed, but you can bet every man in that room already has. Why? Because presence is powerful. Presence is what men pay attention to. And here's the thing that really seals it. A confident woman doesn't have to compete. She doesn't need to prove she's the smartest, or the funniest, or the most beautiful. Her confidence isn't built on comparison, it's built on a deep sense that she belongs. And when a man sees that, he notices because confidence tells him something important. If she knows her worth, she'll never need him to complete her. She'll want him, yes. She'll value him, yes. But she won't need him to feel whole. And that changes everything. So remember this, before he notices your smile, before he catches your laugh, before he takes in the details of your style, what men pay attention to first is the way you believe in yourself without saying a word. That's what confidence really is. Men notice more than just how you treat them directly. They're paying close attention to how you treat everyone else when you think no one is really watching. And this is where character shows up, because it's easy to be kind to someone you're interested in. It's effortless to be sweet when romance is on the line. But what really stands out is the way you treat the people who have nothing to give you. Think about it. When you're at a restaurant, he's watching how you speak to the server. Do you say, please, and thank you? Or do you brush them off like they're invisible? When you're in line at the grocery store and the cashier makes a mistake, do you show patience or roll your eyes? Those little interactions might seem like nothing in the moment, but they speak volumes about who you really are. And trust me, a man who's paying attention will notice. It's not about being perfect, it's about being real. We all have bad days, we all get frustrated, but there's a difference between feeling frustration and making someone else feel small. And here's what men are tuned into: if you can treat strangers with respect, that tells him how you'll treat him in the moments when he messes up, when he falls short, when he's not at his best. Because sooner or later, everyone stumbles. And if you can show patience to a waiter who brings the wrong order, he knows there's a good chance you'll show grace to him when life doesn't go smoothly. Another place men notice: the way you treat people you don't need to impress. The janitor, the Uber driver, the receptionist. These are the people most of the world overlooks, but when you stop to genuinely connect with them, that says something powerful about you. Men pick up on that because it shows empathy, it shows compassion, it shows you live by values, not by appearances. And that kind of heart doesn't go unnoticed, and it goes deeper than just kindness. Men notice how you talk about others when they're not in the room. Do you build people up or tear them down? Do you gossip or do you protect? Because here's the truth: if you're quick to tear someone else apart behind their back, he knows it's only a matter of time before he'll be on the receiving end of that same energy. But when you speak life into people, when you choose to lift instead of criticize, he sees that too. That's the kind of thing that creates trust. Men also pay attention to the little acts of thoughtfulness that most people overlook. The way you hold the door open for someone, the way you offer your seat, the way you notice when someone's struggling and step in to help. Those small, quiet gestures, they reveal the kind of person you are far more than the big stage moments ever could. Here's the part that's easy to forget: men aren't just attracted to beauty, they're drawn to the energy that surrounds you. And the way you treat others creates an atmosphere. If you're someone who makes people feel valued, who brings warmth into every space, that energy is contagious. He feels it too. He notices it. And it tells him you're not just someone to admire, you're someone he can trust with his heart. So while the world is busy chasing appearances, while so much attention is placed on surface level things, what really stands out to a man who's paying attention is how you treat people who have nothing to offer you. Because that is the clearest window into who you truly are. And when he sees kindness that isn't forced, respect that isn't selective, and compassion that shows up in the smallest interactions, that's when he realizes he's looking at someone rare. Men notice your energy in conversations. And when I say energy, I don't just mean the tone of your voice or how animated you are. I'm talking about the presence you bring when you're talking to someone. Because let's be honest, it's easy to get caught up in your phone, easy to half listen, easy to nod along without really being there. But men pick up on that. They notice when you're not really engaged. And on the other side, they also notice when you're fully present, when you look them in the eye, when you really listen instead of waiting for your turn to talk. Presence is powerful. In a world where everyone is distracted, someone who actually listens stands out. Men pay attention to whether you're genuinely curious or just going through the motions. Do you ask questions that show you care about what he's saying, or do you brush past it like it doesn't matter? And it's not about being a perfect conversationalist. It's about showing up with energy that says, I'm here, and I care about this moment. And here's the truth: what you say is important, but how you say it often matters more. Men pick up on whether your words carry warmth or if they're edged with criticism. They notice the tone you use when you disagree. Do you attack or do you discuss? Do you invite or do you shut down? These subtle differences shape the way he experiences you, and he's paying attention even if he never says it out loud. Think about how it feels when someone is actually listening to you, not interrupting, not checking their watch, not trying to fix everything, just listening. It makes you feel valued, doesn't it? That's exactly what men notice, because it's rare, and when something's rare, it becomes unforgettable. And here's the part most people miss. Men don't just notice the words exchanged in a conversation, they notice how those words make them feel when they walk away. Did they feel heard? Did they feel respected? Did they feel encouraged? That emotional residue stays longer than the actual words. Men also pay attention to your ability to bring lightness into a conversation. Not every talk needs to be heavy. Not every exchange needs to be serious. Sometimes it's the little jokes, the playful teasing, the laughter you share that leaves the biggest mark. Because laughter isn't just fun, it builds connection, it lowers defenses, it creates intimacy. A man notices if you can keep things light without dismissing the important stuff, if you can balance joy with depth. And there's another layer to this. Men notice when you let conversations breathe. Sometimes the most powerful thing isn't what you say, but what you allow. The pauses, the silence, the space to just sit without rushing to fill it. That calmness communicates security. It shows you're not desperate for attention, you're not performing, you're just being. And men notice that too, because it feels safe. It feels grounded. So much of communication isn't about having the perfect words, it's about the energy behind them. Men are paying attention to whether you bring peace or chaos into a conversation, whether you uplift or drain, whether you listen or compete. And the beautiful thing is, this doesn't take effort in the way we usually think. You don't need to rehearse your words or memorize clever lines. You just need to show up with genuine presence, with curiosity, and with care. Because at the end of the day, men may forget the exact words you said, but they will never forget how your energy in a conversation made them feel. Men notice how you react when life doesn't go according to plan. It's one thing to shine when everything's going smoothly, but it's in those tough, inconvenient, frustrating moments where your true strength shows up. And believe me, men are paying attention. Think about it. Anyone can be pleasant when the sun is out, when the bills are paid, when the car starts on the first try. But what happens when stress shows up? When work overwhelms you, when traffic makes you late, when your plans fall apart? Men notice how you respond because those reactions reveal more than your words ever could. Do you fall apart at the first sign of pressure? Or do you take a breath and adjust? Do you lash out at the people closest to you? Or do you find a way to manage the moment without making everyone else carry your frustration? Men don't expect you to be perfect, but they do notice whether you crumble or whether you find the courage to keep moving forward. And here's why this matters so much. Life is never without challenges. Relationships are never free of conflict. He knows that if he chooses to share his life with you, you're both going to face stress together. So he's watching how you handle your own storms, because that tells him a lot about what it will be like to weather storms as a team. If your default is panic, blame, or drama, he takes note. But if your instinct is to breathe, to think, to approach problems with resilience, that leaves a lasting impression. Men also notice whether your stress is something you own or something you project. When you're under pressure, do you take responsibility for your emotions, or do you make everyone else pay for them? It's easy to snap, it's easy to blame, it's easy to let frustration spill over. But the women who stand out are the ones who can say, I'm stressed, but I know it's my stress. I'm not going to unload it on you. That kind of self-awareness is rare, and it doesn't go unnoticed. Now, this doesn't mean you should never show vulnerability. In fact, men notice that too. The strength isn't in pretending you're unshakable. It's in being honest about what's hard without letting it control you. Men see the balance between acknowledging your emotions and refusing to be ruled by them. That's real strength. That's what makes you steady. And it's not just about big challenges. It's the little ones too. The coffee spills on your shirt. The traffic jam makes you late. The store runs out of what you needed. Men notice whether those things ruin your day or whether you roll with it and keep going. Because those small reactions, they reveal patterns. And patterns tell them who you really are under the surface. Here's the truth. Resilience is one of the most attractive qualities you can have. Not because it makes life easier, but because it makes life safer. When a man sees that you can handle challenges with calm, with grace, with perspective, he feels like he can trust you. Not just with the good days, but with the hard ones too. So while it might not seem like he's paying attention, believe me, he is. He notices how you treat yourself under stress, how you treat him under stress, and how you treat the world under stress. And those moments, more than the easy ones, are what define the kind of person you are. Because in the end, what men really notice isn't how you shine when life is easy, but how you stand when life gets hard. Men notice whether your words and actions actually line up. It might not be something they point out right away, but believe me, they're paying close attention. Because it's one thing to say what you believe, what you want, what you value, but it's something completely different to live it out consistently. And that consistency, that's where trust is built. Think about it. If you tell a man that honesty is important to you, but he sees you twisting the truth when it's convenient, he notices. If you say you want peace, but he watches you stir up drama when you're bored, he notices. If you talk about wanting respect, but then laugh at someone else's expense, he notices that too. Because when there's a gap between words and actions, people don't feel safe. And safety is one of the things men pay attention to more than you might realize. Now, this doesn't mean men expect perfection. Everyone has moments where they fall short, moments where they struggle to live up to their own standards. But what they notice is the pattern. Are your words guiding your actions most of the time, or are they just nice things you say? Are your values something you live by, or something you use as decoration? Men notice whether you're someone they can trust at face value, or whether they have to constantly second-guess your intentions. And here's the truth. Consistency is attractive. When your actions match your words, it sends a powerful message. What you see is what you get. There's no guessing, no games, no confusion. And men respect that deeply, even if they don't always say it. It shows up in little ways too. If you tell them you're going to do something, do you follow through? If you set a boundary, do you keep it, or do you bend at the moment you feel pressure? Men notice whether your boundaries are real or just suggestions. And when he sees that you mean what you say, it builds respect. It shows strength. It proves you're not just talking about who you are, you're living it. And let's flip it around for a moment. Men also notice when your words and actions don't match, and it chips away at connection. If you say you're fine, but everything about your energy screams otherwise, he feels that disconnect. If you say you want communication but shut down when things get hard, he picks up on it. That inconsistency makes it difficult for him to know where he stands with you. And uncertainty is one of the biggest barriers to trust. What men really value is alignment. Because alignment says you're grounded, you're steady, and you can be counted on. It doesn't mean you'll never make mistakes. It means you'll own them when you do. That honesty, that integrity, is magnetic. And here's the part a lot of people miss. When your words and actions match, it not only makes you trustworthy, it also makes you peaceful to be around. There's no tension, no pretending, no need for constant explanations, just harmony. And that kind of energy is priceless. So yes, men are watching. They may not say it, they may not call it out, but they notice if you walk your talk. They notice if you live what you say you value. And more than anything, they notice whether they can believe you. Not just because of what comes out of your mouth, but because of what shows up in your life. Because at the end of the day, what men pay attention to most is not just what you say you are, but who you prove to be when no one's watching. Men notice the small efforts you make, and sometimes those tiny gestures carry more weight than the grand ones. It's not always about sweeping romantic moments or big, dramatic expressions. It's the little things, the subtle details, the everyday choices you make that stand out. And here's the truth: men pay closer attention to those than you might think. Think about the last time you did something small for someone. Maybe you remembered their favorite drink and surprised them with it. Maybe you sent a text just to say, "Good luck on your meeting today." It didn't take much, but it meant something. Men notice that, because those moments show thoughtfulness. They show care. They show you're tuned in. It doesn't have to be anything over the top. Men notice when you laugh at their jokes, even the ones that weren't really that funny. They notice when you reach for their hand first, or when you smile just because they walked into the room. Those are the things that stick. Those are the things that tell him he matters. And it goes even deeper. Men pay attention to whether you pick up on the little details of who they are. Do you remember the story he told about his childhood? Do you recall his favorite food, his favorite team, or the song that always gets him fired up? When you bring up those things, it tells him you weren't just hearing, you were listening. And for a man, that kind of attention feels rare. It makes him feel seen in a way that's unforgettable. The beauty of small efforts is that they're consistent. Big moments are amazing, but they're not daily. The little things, though, they add up over time. They create a pattern. And when a man sees that pattern, when he sees you choosing to show up in small ways again and again, it builds something stronger than any grand gesture could ever create. It builds trust. It builds connection. It builds love. And here's something most people overlook. Men notice when your small efforts are genuine versus when they're forced. If you're doing something to get a reaction, he feels that. But if you're doing it because it's who you are, because kindness and thoughtfulness flow naturally from you, that's what makes it powerful. That's what makes it memorable. Even the simplest actions can carry a lot of meaning. Sending a text that says, "Drive safe," making his coffee the way he likes it, giving him space when he's had a long day without him even asking. Those little things show not just that you care, but that you pay attention. And men notice that attention. It reassures them that you don't just love the idea of them, you love the details of who they are. Sometimes it's not even about doing, it's about noticing. Men pay attention to whether you acknowledge their efforts too. The compliment on the way he handled something at work, the "thank you" for fixing something around the house, the appreciation you show when he tries, even if it's small. That acknowledgement fuels him. It tells him his efforts matter, and it inspires him to give even more. So while the world tells you that attraction is built on grand gestures, men know differently. What truly makes an impact are the consistent, small acts that prove you're paying attention. Because those are the things that whisper, "You matter to me," without ever having to say the words out loud. And at the end of the day, what men notice most isn't the big moments. They notice the little ones that add up to something big